Hi, I'm Patrick Sullivan. This is Recurring Insight, and for this episode, I'm going to be talking about Millstone. Millstone is a very significant design. There's not a lot of cards that come along that inspire their own keyword, and it's also Magic's first exploration into what an alternate but soft win condition looks like. It's a really big deal, and it's a card that gets played pretty heavily in casual formats. Milling is popular enough that's inspired a lot of designs since then, and so for as simple and as innocuous as Millstone seems, it's a big part of Magic's history.
Millstone is a hugely influential design. You can tell because it inspired the keyword mill. So it, as a colloquialism, has held up for almost 25 years. Part of the reason it's so influential is because it's really Magic's first stab, I believe, at an alternate win condition of sorts, and certainly of an alternate win condition that doesn't explicitly call out you win the game under certain conditions. I wasn't there for the development of Alpha, but I would guess that the decking win condition was more motivated by getting a way to conclude games that otherwise wouldn't reach some sort of conclusion than it was supposed to be a win condition that a player actively pursued. But Millstone made that sort of pursuit feasible and gave context to a bunch of cards and ways of building decks that prior to that had just been super fringe or really not anything you could consider at all. And milling is also very important as a Magic mechanic because even though it doesn't really do anything on its own, or it's rare for it to do very much on its own, it is known that casual players and particularly novice players really gravitate towards it. That the act of putting cards in your opponent's library from their deck gives off a feeling of having destroyed stuff, even though as you pick up more fluency in the game engine, you understand for the most part, cards going from the deck to the graveyard really doesn't matter very much. What matters is cards being drawn and put into people's hands. What matters is cards entering the battlefield. And so Millstone has a really high illusion of power that is part of the reason it inspires so many designs today. Why Magic designers often go to mill designs either as one-offs or as sort of fringe constructed applications. It's also known that casual players, by the same token, really hate getting milled. If you think it's awesome to be milling your opponent and watching their cards to the graveyard, it stands to reason that you would really dislike the experience of the same thing happening to you, which raises the question, why would you do it in the first place? If it's a mechanic that causes casual players or novice players so much pain, why would you go about doing it? And the answer to that question is because typically it's not very good. And there is something really gratifying about beating the bad guy, of your opponent milling you, but because that's not a very powerful thing to be doing, you win the game, and then you have the satisfaction of beating your enemy. And that's a problem with a lot of Magic's sort of invasive mechanics and keywords over the years. It's not necessarily that one Stone Rain or one discard spell or one counter spell ruins the experience. Some amount of the time it can be bad for casual or novice players, but those cards don't inherently ruin the experience. The same thing has never really been true of milling. And so it gets to exist in this place where the players who really like that sort of experience get to have a very positive sensation engaging in the activity, and that the players who really don't like it have the experience of it happening to them and it being frustrating, but it not actually causing them to lose the game very frequently. So Millstone, in terms of laying the architecture for alternate win conditions, in terms of highlighting how mechanics that casual players both love and hate can be executed in a way that creates net fun in the ecosystem, and as being one of few, if any, cards that really have ever inspired its own keyword, certainly 25 years down the line, Millstone stands out to me as one of Magic's most important designs.
So again, that was Millstone, and this is Recurring Insight. Make sure that you're subscribed to the Star City Games YouTube page so you can get notified when this and the other videos get uploaded to the page. Make sure to like, throw your comments up in there. I'm actually zeroed out. I got, in fact, a request today from my bosses. They're annoyed that I haven't filled out my next wave of designs yet. So now's a really good time to request your cards. I've seen a lot of them up there. Keep the comments coming, the likes coming. It's great. Even just posting algorithms up there, which a lot of you do because I guess you think it's funny. that's still good. So keep doing what you're doing and tune in next time.